Good day, Chino Valley educators. This is just a brief overview of Google Meet. Most teachers will be having their virtual meetings using the Google Classroom link to Google Meet, as that is the most secure way to get together with your students. To first make sure that your students see this link, because right now I can tell my students cannot see that link, remember that you go over to the gear in the upper right-hand corner of your Google Classroom, scroll down just a bit, and then you'll see under the general category, Meet. Visible to students is toggled off. Shortly before my meet, I'm going to toggle that on so my students can see the link. The reason I'm doing it shortly before the meeting is I may end up using this code over and over, and I don't want kids trying to pop in and wasting time waiting for me to show up. This is only usable when I open the meeting, and there's no reason for them to even try and get in without me being there. Let's save that. And now if I go back to my stream page, I can see that that is visible to my students. To access this, I can tap it from here. Most of my students will see the Meet link right there, so I can access it from either space. Camera is starting up, and the first time students use this, they'll need to tap on Allow, usually up here in the upper left-hand corner. They need to allow the camera and microphone to work. If for any reason a student accidentally clicks block, and they will at some point, some students will, I'll show you where you can fix that. Up here in my URL bar, you can see this little camera. This little camera, if it has a little X on it, that means that the camera and microphone have not been allowed or have been disallowed, actually. You can describe that for a student. You can usually help a student with that. Pretty easy to describe. All they have to do is tap that tiny microphone and it'll open up this menu, which describes how to then continue to use or continue to block. Also notice that this is also a place where kids can choose which camera. Pretty rare that kids are going to have more than one camera on their device, but just in case, they can choose right there. All right, back to our overview of Google Meet via Google Classroom. I'm going to tap on Join Now, and when I enter this Meet, I can see joining information. My students are now, by the way, filtering in. They may have been waiting for me to arrive. Because this is through Google Classroom, my students cannot arrive into this meeting until I've come in as a teacher, as the adult, so that's great. 5 or more students means that everybody is muted. However, kids can unmute themselves, so we'll need to establish some norms and protocols for your meetings. This box right here is available to you also down here. So if I close it and then I realize I'm going to need that information, I can get it from the lower left-hand corner. This Meet information is really only necessary if you're going to have somebody join this Google Meet from outside Google Classroom. Now, why on earth would you do that? Well, you might have a parent who needs to jump on and doesn't have his or her kids' login information. You might have a new student who doesn't yet have a network ID. So there might be a time or two that you'll need that to share it, and I recommend sharing a few minutes after the meeting has begun because it can be chaos at the very beginning. All you have to do is copy joining information. You'll see that dial-in is also a possibility. Send it to them via email, through Remind, whatever way you have to share with them quickly. And when they try to enter this meeting, they will generate a doorbell sound, and you'll get a pop-up here in the center of your screen indicating that somebody's trying to get in. If you deny somebody twice, they should not be able to ring the doorbell again. So don't worry that somebody's going to continually keep ringing the doorbell and bothering your meeting the entire time. I think that's important stuff to know. Up here you can see how many people are in your meeting. It includes you, and it also includes a presentation screen. So if I right now went in to present my screen and teach from it, it would then say 2, even though there's nobody else on this meeting. This opens up the chat window. Right now the chat window is open to everybody. There's an update coming that will allow teachers to close the chat to everybody but teachers. So you will be able to send a message to students. You'll be able to send them links here, but you will not have to worry about them talking there and being distracted. You'll also notice, by the way, if you're accustomed to using Zoom, that the chat feature in Google Meet is just for everybody. So there's no opportunity for private chats in here either. I'm going to close that. Also in the upper right hand corner, I see a tiny bit of me, and when I see these little green lines go up and down, it confirms that my voice is leaving my my meeting, so everything's working. Down here along the bottom, sometimes I don't see this white ribbon. If it disappears in the middle of my teaching or talking or whatever we're doing, all I have to do is float my mouse down to about the bottom third of the screen, and this ribbon will show up. This is my mute button, of course, so you can direct kids to that. This is the camera button, so you can send kids to that. This obviously hangs up. Over here on captions, if I turn on captions, the captions are also turned on for all my students. Students can turn on for themselves as well. This might be handy in a house that is noisy, or for kids who process better with the words than auditorily, or if they have earbuds on but they aren't the best earbuds. I'm going to turn my captions off. We're going to skip present now. We'll do that one last. Over here in the right-hand corner, there are vertical ellipses, or the three little dots. And when I tap on those, I want to point out a few things, but always, always, my teachers, tap on ellipses and see what kind of menu you get. Tap on those hamburgers and arrows and see what kind of menus you get. And I bet you'll end up finding things that are answers to questions you didn't even know you had yet. Record meeting, that is available to everybody. But the only person who gets the recording is the host, and that's you. You're the teacher. Change layout. Again, you can select. Auto usually does pick out the best one. Here's an update. The tiled will, with a new update sometime this year, allow up to 49 faces to be thrown onto the screen. So that'll be really nice. Sometimes students need to know that they can change the view so they can see what you are presenting better. So make sure kids know about these little ellipses as well so they can change their layout. Full screen just removes all the gobbledygook around my edges. Turn on captions is also available out here. Settings is something you should know about occasionally. Hopefully, once things are set up, you'll never have to touch this, but sometimes if somebody is using a personal device or just doing things differently, they might need to pop into settings, and then they can check or choose different microphones, speakers, and of course cameras. So that was available up in the URL bar, but it's also available right here. Just giving you a place to do your own experimenting should you need to get a problem resolved and you can't get a hold of one of us. Let's see, that's not really necessary for you. You can report a problem to Google if you want to. Last but not least, I wanted to show you a present now, a couple of things. I typically use your entire screen. So when I present with my entire screen, and it means that anything that is in my monitor, whatever I can see on my monitor, is what my students will see. The alternative, a window, is kind of a safety valve. So if you only have one screen that you want to show your students, you have other tabs open in your browser, you don't want to accidentally show them something else, then you would just choose a window. And this is something I want to make sure everyone notices. With the last update, they fixed some issues they were having with audio and video that just was kind of murky. So they created this. If I go to a Chrome tab intending to show a video, it will open up a little line for each of the tabs that are open in my browser. Check that out. I have my YouTube video ready to go. So I can just tap on this and then share. And the quality of the audio and video is much better for my students on the receiving end if I share my videos that way. All right, cancel that for right now. That kind of covers our overview. Sorry I'm talking so fast, but you can always rewatch this. And if you have any questions, reach out to us.